They said my 50th birthday would be unforgettable. They were right. I came home to an empty house, no note, no call. Checked Instagram, there they were, my whole family, toasting on a beach. My son's caption? He won't even miss us lol. Oh, I made damn sure they would. Part 3. Around midnight, I found a text thread between Willow and Lindsay from 2 weeks earlier. Willow, should we even tell Norman about the trip? Lindsay, why bother? He'll just complain about the cost. Willow, true lol. It's not like he ever pays attention to anything but work anyway. Lindsay, he probably won't notice until the weekend. Willow, if that's soon. That was the moment something inside me hardened. I'd been holding on to a tiny hope that maybe, just maybe, there was some massive misunderstanding. That text killed it. By day 4 of their vacation, the messages had a new tone: anger. Dad, WTF? Mom's been crying all night. What is your problem? Willow, I don't know what game you're playing, but this is cruel. Norman. Otis, Norman, you're proving exactly what I've always thought about you, selfish and immature. Day 5 brought panic as they realized I was still radio silent. We're cutting the vacation short. Coming home tomorrow. Please be there. Dad, I'm scared something happened to you. If you're doing this on purpose, it's seriously up. I still didn't respond, but I did start making preparations for their return. Moved Willow's clothes and personal items to the guest room. Changed the Wi-Fi password. Installed a passcode lock on my computer. Small things that sent a message: you can't pretend nothing happened. That night, I received a particularly revealing voice message from Piper. She was crying, voice all choked up, saying she was sorry about my birthday, that she'd wanted to call me but Grandma Kinsley said it would ruin the surprise they were planning. She felt weird about the trip, but everyone made her feel like she was overreacting. That Otis had paid for most of it as a family bonding experience. I nearly called her back, nearly, but then I remembered her in those beach photos, smiling without a care in the world, not looking bothered at all. 20-year-olds are adults who make their own choices. The morning they were due to return, I finally installed the new deadbolt. Not to lock them out permanently, I'm not that petty, but to make a point. They'd need to ring the doorbell to face me, to acknowledge what they'd done, before walking back into our home like nothing happened. I took the day off work and waited. At 2:47 p.m., I got a text from Willow saying their flight had landed. At 4:32 p.m., I heard their Uber pulling into the driveway, multiple voices, luggage wheels on concrete, then silence, which I'm guessing was the moment they realized their keys didn't work anymore. The doorbell rang. I took my time answering it. When I did, I found a tableau of sunburned, exhausted faces trying to manufacture casual smiles. Willow clutching a gift bag that definitely hadn't been packed in their original luggage. Thomas looking everywhere but at me. Piper on the verge of tears. Otis and Kinsley standing behind them with matching expressions of disapproval. I just stood there, filling the doorway, silent. Willow tried first, started with how worried they'd been, how they'd called hospitals, how they'd cut their trip short because they were so concerned. Then pivoted to how the trip had been planned as a pre-birthday celebration, but things had gotten complicated and they were going to surprise me when they got back with a special dinner. I didn't say a word. Just pulled out my phone, opened Instagram, and held up the screen with Thomas's post: he won't even notice we're gone lol. The silence that followed was something special. Thomas stared at his shoes. Piper started actually crying. Willow tried to grab my phone, which I easily moved away. Otis stepped forward, saying this was ridiculous, they needed to come inside and talk like adults. I finally spoke. Told Otis he wasn't welcome in my house today, that he could drop the luggage and leave. The look on his face was like he'd been slapped. For probably the first time in his life, someone had told him no, told him to leave. The great Otis, used to everyone dancing to his tune, stood there sputtering on my doorstep while I stared him down. Kinsley tried to diffuse things, saying they were all tired from traveling, maybe they could talk tomorrow. I said tomorrow worked for me, but not for Otis. Ever. After they left, I let Willow, Thomas, and Piper in. The house felt different with them in it, smaller, tense. Willow noticed her things missing from our bedroom immediately and demanded to know what I'd done. That's when I brought out my folder, the screenshots, the bank statement, the expense breakdown. Laid it all out on the kitchen table and told them I had just one question: when exactly did I become so worthless to this family? Willow tried to turn it around, said I was being dramatic, that it was just a vacation, that they'd planned to celebrate my birthday when they got back. I showed her the text thread with Lindsay. Her face went white. Thomas tried to downplay his Instagram caption, said it was just a joke, that everyone exaggerates on social media. I showed him his own comments from the past year, all the little digs about me being absent, being boring, being a typical dad. His excuses dried up. Piper just cried, but even through the tears, she let slip that the trip had been planned for months, that it was originally supposed to include me, but Otis had convinced Willow it could be a family reset without my negative energy bringing everyone down. By 7 p.m., we'd reached the heart of it, the ugly truth nobody wanted to say out loud. They'd created a narrative about me, Norman, the boring provider, Norman, the absent father, Norman, the workaholic. It made it easy to justify treating me like garbage. They'd convinced themselves I wouldn't care about being excluded from my own family, that I wouldn't notice, that I wouldn't feel. And the most painful realization? They weren't totally wrong. I had let work become my identity. I had missed events for overtime. I had been quiet when I should have spoken up. But I was speaking up now. I told them I'd moved most of my money to a separate account, that I'd pay the mortgage and utilities for 3 months while Willow figured out her next steps. That I'd continue supporting Piper's education directly, but not through their discretionary spending. That they had 3 months to either rebuild our marriage on new terms or prepare for divorce. Thomas stormed out, saying I was being unfair. Piper went to her room in tears. Willow just sat at the table, staring at the stack of evidence I'd compiled, looking like someone had just told her Santa wasn't real.